Good morning, pregame crew. It is Thursday, October 19th, 2023, 6:20 a.m. Mountain Time, 8:20 a.m. Eastern Time. Good morning and welcome to the show. I'm glad you're here. Say hi and chat. And I'm going to go say hello to my friends and do an audio-visual check. We have initial jobless claims in 9 minutes. I officially get started then. Between now and then, I just kind of ramble around and try to get my brain warmed up. Good morning, Shake and Bake. Thank you, Rob. Hey, Marvin, Greg. Hey, Tom, SGN, Topher, Night Truck, Mal, Carlos, Bajorno, Geo Guitar, Cliff, Hector, Gino, Ray, Sam, Bass, Carlos, B-Hawk, Scotty doesn't know. What do you know, Scotty? Hey, Mike, Dan the Man. That's funny. My charting man, Dan, is Dan the Man, and my husband is Dan the Man. Awesome, Jimbo, OMC. Hey, OM Cincy, how are ya? Donald, Nugget, you're the queen. Hey, Scott, Card Lady, Swarming Zone, 99 Slacker. 99 problems, but a yacht ain't one. Good morning. Let me go back up to the top. Are there any chart requests? Hey, Clifton. Solano, sure. Potential daily bull flag. Tiny weekly bull flag, but I wouldn't get behind that too much. A weekly higher high is possible. Four hour, you're approaching resistance at 24.57 and 24.78. It's a nice push up. Your hourly is approaching overbought, but you're in a daily uptrend, so not that big of a deal. 15-minute uptrend. I'd stay in back burner mode on this. It just worked. 15-minute oversold right there, and you're up $1.30. So I would just stay in back burner mode as long as the bulls are in charge. Hey, Topher, we're not at max chaos yet. VIX is very boring. In the big scheme of things, this is a nothing burger. We can't even get over $20. Barely. So we don't have, this is not max chaos yet. Doesn't mean it can't happen. And I would anticipate it could happen anytime over the next 2.5 weeks. We got FOMC. Halloween week, we have Apple and Amazon and Google and Microsoft earnings. Not next week, but the next week with FOMC. So you got a lot coming in hot. We got Powell talking this afternoon, noon Eastern. And we have jobless claims at 8:30. We got a lot of data and war headlines. So yeah, more chaos could be on the way. Good morning, everyone. I do NQ every day. Hey, y'all like NQ? We'll do it. Hey, Tess. Hey, Success. So NQ is green. Netflix is a very minor part of NASDAQ. So it's impressive that we're green because Tesla is a major part of NASDAQ. We're in a daily downtrend. We rejected at the daily 50 MA. We're in a weekly downtrend. We have plenty of room for a weekly high. Not plenty of room, but we have enough room for a weekly higher low. If we have one more push down on the 4 hour, that would get us oversold below 15,000 psych. And that may be the area where bulls start scouting those weekly higher lows. We'll see. They're playing some defense right now. Got to get over 15,069.50. I'm focused on ES on this daily 200 MA. You see it? Right there, that purple line. That's where bulls started buying the dip. The market really needs this daily 200 MA to hold. Really need it to hold. And then we're still looking for a daily low or high on a bounce. Bulls are in prove it mode. Am I farther from the mic today? Let me push it a little further. Okay, maybe this will help a little. Maybe your hearing is going. I'm just kidding, Slow Devil. All right. I'm current on chart request, it looks like. I kind of got excited this morning and I was thinking what you said yesterday, Slow Devil. I'm like, today I can hear the coffee in my voice. Like I'm rattling with, I'm vibrating with energy this morning. So we'll see if that yields flow state or not. We got the market bouncing and VIX coming in right now, jobless claims in 4 minutes. Okay, it's better on the sound now. Okay, let me just do it a little bit closer. There we go. That should be the best I have. And I've checked all my microphone cords because some of y'all said audio was dropping and everything looks stable on my end. So let me know, as always. Yes, Elon was super pessimistic on the earnings call yesterday, and that made Tesla come in. Netflix was a beat. And I'm not going to spend a ton of time on Netflix today. My ears have been abused too. But if we look at Netflix, we were daily oversold. 27 RSI coming into earnings. I've taken 2 earnings trades this year because earnings are binary events. It's true. They are binary events. Unless you're sleeping with a CEO or CFO, you really don't know what's going to happen. But look at Nike coming into earnings. Daily was oversold and weekly was oversold. Wait, daily was right here. Okay, September 28th. If we look at the weekly, this marked the bottom right here. Weekly was oversold at the time that Nike went into earnings. When you have a name that's super beat up that you know is a consumer staple, that people use it like Netflix and Nike, those to me, I do controlled risk with just calls. But when you're extremely beat up going into earnings, I tend to look the other way. And Netflix was a great example of that yesterday. And I don't encourage any type of binary event trading if you're a newer trader. Netflix was not oversold on the weekly. That was the only tiny thing holding me back. But we're up here at the 0.382 retrace from the monthly chart from high to low. That monthly high or low is now set and tighter we go. But congrats, Netflix bulls. And they had a $10 billion buyback. Hey, binge chair. Yep. Dis. Oh, that's not how you spell dis. I'm shocked that Disney is not benefiting from this Netflix news. I thought Roku and Disney would get a little lift from this. So I'm not saying it won't come, but there's also a bear cave report coming out today at 10 or 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Let me see. 10:30 a.m. The bear cave is exposing a $1 billion plus company that's the worst of the public markets. So how big? This market cap is 154 billion. So it may not be Disney. We'll see. Netflix, I thought, would have lifted this a little bit more. Daily higher low is possible compared to 83.38. Thank you, Donald, for that. Jobless claims, 213,000. Absolutely, Dakota. I actually simplify my chart when I get in a day trade. I use VWAP and I get rid of the 8 and 21 sometimes on a day trade because I want to focus on price action. So I like to use my indicators for larger term time frames and deriving my edge. But once I'm in a trade, I like to simplify because I don't want to get jarred out by too many indicators coming into play. So simplification is better most of the time. Good morning, Lesmar. So we have jobless claims coming up in 24 seconds, and that is here. 212,000 is what is expected, and the Philadelphia Fed Manufacturing Index coming in at the same time. Existing home sales 30 minutes after market open, and then we have Fed Chair Powell speaking at noon Eastern. Big, big, big. We have other Fed members speaking, but this one's going to be a big one. And I don't think it's going to be a nothing burger. I think he's actually going to address the economy versus just speaking to people. Okay, so jobless claims are a little less than expected. That's a bad news is good news. The market is digesting it right now. It's slightly bearish on this reaction. Philadelphia Fed Manufacturing Index is down pretty extreme. That should be a bad news is good news thing as well. Let's go look at the dollar. 5-minute potential bear flag. Let's see how it reacts. All right, let's get this show on the road. Good morning. This is who I am. I'm Chart Gal Lori, and I'm part of the Chart Guys community, and we teach technical analysis. If you want to give me a follow on Twitter, that'd be lovely. I would appreciate it. VIX just took a dump down. That's good for the market. Market is digesting this and trying to bounce now. We'll see. If you want to give me a follow on Twitter, that'd be great. And what I do here every morning is I look at this handy dandy table, which is pointing more bearish than bullish. Bears have control, bulls have the prove it indicator. I then go over the economic calendar, and I have notes that are off screen that I copy and paste for TCG members only when I am done. All right, what the heck is going on? Let's unpack it. Daily, we're at the 200 MA, and if I were allowed to only show you one chart, which thank God I'm not refined or confined to one chart. I'm not refined either, that's for sure. We're in a daily downtrend, but we're at the daily 200 MA. This is a very important level for me, and we're bouncing. In my opinion, this is where bulls must play defense here at 4329, and that's where they're playing defense. You see the lower wick of bulls buying that dip. A daily lower high is still the more likely scenario, but this is looking a little bit better. We need to get over the 21 EMA. So again, if I were only allowed to show you one indicator or one chart today, it would be this. I am short-term bullish as long as the daily 200 MA is held. 43.20 right now, the low of the day, is my line in the sand. So just to kind of simplify what I'm looking at, if I had to boil it down to one indicator, one chart, and the most important one, this is it. That reminds me of my dad every time. I won't get into that story. I don't need to get derailed. We have a lower wick of bulls buying the dip here on the NASDAQ. We have the daily 50 MA overhead. And I want to go back to ES because I didn't mention this. And if we look, we are at the weekly 50 MA on ES. So weekly 50 MA is holding. Daily 200 MA is holding. So bulls are still in prove it mode. They're rejecting at the 50 RSI. We do have a little squeeze forming. So I'm not throwing in the towels on bulls yet, but I'm not giving them the benefit of the doubt, if that makes sense. If you have to give the edge to someone, the bears have it. I'm just being cautious at this 200 MA. I was talking with a mentee yesterday, and he was saying, well, gun to head, I would do this, or gun to head. Because y'all know I say that when y'all ask me about a chart where I don't see a clear setup, but I have to call something, y'all want me to give a bias, I then say I like it bearish or I like it bullish. That doesn't mean you have to trade it. Our trading should not be gun to head trading. Our trading should be high risk. And two more tips. Here's my little soapbox moment for the day. I have mentored, I don't know, maybe over 50 students over the past 5 years. I have not mentored a lot because I like to focus on the chat room and help the abundance of people versus individuals, but sometimes I carve out time for mentoring. And I have just did a 3-month stint of that, and now I'm only doing 1 month check-in with 1 or 2 people that have specifically asked. But get to the point, Lori. The first thing I tell students on the first day of mentoring is journal your trades. So if you want to get that lesson without having to pay me hundreds of dollars an hour, this is what I tell them. First thing, journal. Tag your edge, and we got to figure out what your edge is, but the first thing is journal. And they get extra points, brownie points, gold points if they give me access to view their trades. Do you know why? Would you be taking all the trades that you take if I could see your trades, or if Charting Man Dan could see your trades, or insert trader name that you respect could see your trades? Would you be taking them all? Because some of y'all look like a whacked out rabbit out there just taking a trade, boom, pushing buttons. And I think I said a rabbit on crack before, where sometimes we're trading like crackheads. It's like, well, take this trade, oh, take that trade, take this trade. If someone you respected in the trading world, or your husband or wife, could see all of your trades, would you be taking all the trades that you take? Let me answer that for you. No, you wouldn't, because you'd be embarrassed, and it would help your trading. So maybe think about that. A mentor, a mentee, a peer, a family member that you trust and is involved in your personal finances. or that you don't mind seeing your personal finances, maybe give them access to your spreadsheet or to your journal. Trader VUE, it allows you to assign a mentor to see your trades. And journaling your trades, you can't get better if you don't know what you're doing wrong. So journaling your trades is important. Okay, back to the regularly scheduled program. Looking at NASDAQ. NASDAQ is in a weekly downtrend, daily downtrend, 4-hour potential bear flags. I forgot to say that. ES as well, potential 4-hour bear flags. As long as these bear flags remain, I do think this is a reverse back burner day where we're looking for, I would be more careful with, so I would go to 15-minute overbought conditions on names that are in hourly, 4-hour, daily, hourly downtrends, looking for 15-minute overbought conditions to scout shorts. I think that could work. And we'll be watching the market as the show goes on, and we'll just unpack it as more data arrives. Here is the fly in the ointment. We got a daily bull break. This weekly bull flag confirmed. Now let's see if we get follow through. If we can stay below $5 psychological and pull down, that would be a miracle for the market. TLT broke the last support we had, 83.57 in pre-market. Now we need to get back up over that in regular trading hours, get back over $84. Y'all, we need TLT to bounce. We need the U.S. Treasuries to chill out. Why do we need U.S. Treasuries to chill out? If you're an American right now, and let's just say you have, I'm trying to make it simple, $100,000 in the savings account. Would you be putting that $100,000 to work in the stock market or in U.S. Treasuries with U.S. 10-year up at 5%? Well, I can answer the question. A lot of us have our money in the U.S. Treasuries because the yield is so good. So in order for money to come out of the Treasury market and back into equities, we need this number to come down, and it's not coming down. It hasn't been. So let's see if the U.S. 10-year, and let's see if I can just write it on the chart and make it so. $5. Psych resistance. Please hold. 7 pound, 7 ounce, baby Jesus. Please hold for equity bull market. I'm joking, of course. Y'all know if you're new around here, this is my sense of humor. I don't mean any disrespect to anyone. So this is super important that we hold below $5 and let's start coming to the downside on treasuries, RTY. And I know that was a super simplistic answer or explanation as to what the U.S. treasuries and how they impact the market. I have a master's in business administration, but I am not an economist, and I went to a SEC school, so I think my degrees are a little discounted. So anyway, 15-minute uptrend, a potential 4-hour bear flag on RTY. We just have this tightening pattern. I think this is going to be crucial how we break out of this daily EQ pattern in RTY and the Russell. Are we in a risk-on environment? And BTY gave me hope this morning when I woke up. I'm like, you know what? This isn't game over for risk-on assets. This isn't game over. Bitcoin is holding great. And y'all know I like to highlight things that are standing out to me, diverging from the larger trend in blue. I think this is a little bit more positive for market bulls than I know it's more positive than negative. Okay, RTY, trying to get that 15-minute trend. We need this trend change to get follow through in order to stave off those 4-hour bear flags. All right. This was pretty cool yesterday. The Dow, the rink-dink 4-hour the drawing was rink-dink 4-hour diamond bearish reversal pattern on the Dow came to fruition. But the Dow is not hurting like other indices. We still have a daily uptrend on the Dow. 4 hours potential bear flag, but considering transportation looks like this, I'm shocked that the Dow is holding up so well. Look at the transportation's a dog. Look at AAL, which I think they're trying to bounce. Yeah, they're trying to bounce, but look at that chart. They had earnings this morning. UAL was down 10% yesterday. Look at this dog. Look at this dog. Look at that dog. Gas has been killing the transportation index, and the Dow is holding up very well. That shows me the major strength that the Dow has in it. Ah, Marvin, good to know. Yeah, hit the like button. And I did sleep in a Holiday Inn Express last night. There you go. All right, VIX is coming down pretty good. Hourly downtrend. 4 hours still looks super healthy. We need this Dow chart to implode. Let's see if this works. This is not the ideal. I jokingly said what's her name? On Real Housewives of Atlanta. Don't come for me, I'll send for you. Like, don't come for me. This isn't a perfect 4-hour diamond bearish reversal pattern, but let's see if this can break to the downside. That would be bullish for indices. So I'm going to just make my case right now. For market bulls, this is what needs to happen. Bitcoin needs to remain resilient. And I'm choosing my words carefully. I didn't say it needs to be a raging bull. Just be resilient. And then ES 200 MA needs to hold. VIX 4-hour diamond bearish reversal pattern needs to break apart. Those are 3 major things that need to happen for bulls to see a continued bounce today. Well, let me finish it on up. US 10-year $5 psych resistance needs to hold. And I just keep laying out my case. I feel like I'm a lawyer every morning, and my minor was in pre-law because I was a wannabe lawyer and then I changed my mind. But anyway, my lawyer former desires are come into play every day with trading because I'm constantly laying out a case for bulls and bears. And that's the case for bulls to take back over today. This is what needs to happen. Hang Seng was down huge overnight, 2.46%. And we have DAX down 0.18%. That's recovering fairly well since I woke up a few hours ago. Bitcoin is very resilient. Ethereum is giving back that strength it had yesterday, potential 4-hour bear flag. So today, if you're looking bullish, I'd be looking Bitcoin in crypto specifically. And if you're looking bearish, I would stay with Ethereum. Dixie, 4-hour high or low as possible. We need this to break apart for our bull case as well. So the daily head and shoulders, bulls are trying to stave off these bears. This was a beautiful hourly break. This is good. This is great for market bulls. Keep it up. All right, gold. Gold, I don't have the right attitude with gold. I told y'all yesterday that it's a war chart. I keep writing war chart on this, and I'm doing it for my own bias. War chart. Because we were looking up at 1968.90 yesterday. Well, we broke bull. We broke bull. We're not overbought on the daily yet. And 4-hour, we have this clear uptrend. So I'm just going to keep this trend line on the chart, and you'll see why I'm having to keep myself in check due to one of the Queen of the Mountain trades today. Gold is bullish, and back burners, pullbacks to oversold conditions are for buying until the bears prove otherwise. Oil bulls are trying to play defense up here. We're looking for a weekly low or high. Dan's been drawing this 4-hour rising wedge on oil for a few days now. It looked like it was breaking bear to me this morning, but their bulls are trying to get back up and fight. I like oil short for an hourly top fish against 87.22. And XLE is one of my number one watches today, so I need this to come to fruition. If it doesn't, I get stopped out. No big deal. Nat gas, I don't like it. We're looking for a daily high or low. 50 MA is below, but where's it going to happen? We do have some 4-hour slight bullish divergence in RSI. This has been a nightmare of a chart for bulls. All right, Apple. So Apple is the other name that could benefit from Netflix beat. Apple, what's it called? Apple Plus, their streaming service. Why wouldn't they benefit from Netflix earnings? So for me, this is one of the more bullish charts. A daily high or low is the more likely scenario. And we're holding up fine. We have a daily inside bar yesterday. We didn't break the low of the prior day. And y'all look at this. Okay, I'm not doing terrible on time today like I have been all week. I've been chatty Cathy. This has a falling wedge vibe to it. I'm not mad at this Apple chart. I think an Apple pullback to yesterday's low, let's just call it 175, I think could be a decent long today. We'll see. And I'm going off the potential Netflix correlation. Amazon is bouncing. I typed in my notes, I didn't see a clear setup, and I still don't. I don't see a clear setup. 4-hour lower high is the more likely scenario. NVIDIA, TSM beat earnings last night, and NVIDIA is benefiting from that. And I think 420 is nails on NVIDIA. And I'm sorry, I know some of you, English isn't your first language. Don't worry, English isn't my first language either. It's redneck. So I struggle as well. I try not to use too many of my metaphors and sayings because I know that it's not universal. I'm sorry, I try not to, but it's just me. I try. NVIDIA, 420 is going to be something until it's not something to NVIDIA. So I think 420 is a dip buying opportunity on NVIDIA, and we take advantage of this TSM bullish correlation. I think a pullback buy is decent, and here's what I'm thinking. Yes, this is weekly head and shoulders. Yes, I know. But 4-hour got oversold yesterday. We're coming from 4-hour oversold, scouting a weekly higher low. I think this is a possible pullback buy just for a counter trend scalp, looking for that weekly higher low for just a temporary long. And we may have missed our opportunity with this pre-market bounce. Tesla, no heroes, no Oscars, no gold stars, no trophies given for nailing this bottom. So your next low, you have a gap down here at 217.58 and you have support at 212.36. I have no interest in a Tesla long down here personally. I don't. RSI doesn't mean as much because it's news related. Elon was very pessimistic last night. We have downgrades that are likely to come in. I'm staying with the 3-day no touch rule on a name that's busted, and this name is busted. Okay, GDX, this is a high risk trade idea. I recognize it. Again, y'all don't come for me. I get that this gold has been super bullish and that gold is a war name. So I'm going to tread very lightly here. GDX got a double top, $30.13, $30.07. We have a weekly double top with a weekly 50 MA overhead. I think 30.15 is a decent short area for GDX, and stop out quickly if you're wrong. Nike, this is another high risk setup. Weekly lower high is the more likely scenario. 4-hour is overbought. Y'all look at that straight up. Just straight up. They're just punishing those bears that piled in before earnings. Punishing them. However, right here, right now, they're getting a little in front of their skis. Yes, they broke 102.96, but a weekly lower high is still the more likely scenario. We look to 4-hour overbought to begin scouting that scenario. So if the market were to weaken yesterday, I think a top fish against 104 makes sense. But if the market's going to be strong today, I throw this idea out the window. Netflix, dang, this is beautiful. 400 psych may come into play, but right now we've put bears under, bears that have been shorting. Let's see how far back. Since September 18th. So for the last month, bears that have been shorting for the last month are underwater right now in Netflix. And the higher it goes, the more pain that is shilled out to these bears. So be careful. I don't have a trade set up for you on this. I don't. And I know that aggravates people and ticks them off. First 5-minute back burner, yeah, that'll be a trade idea. If you want to trade a stair step, you got to get a pullback, in my opinion. If you want to trade a stair step and you just want to say, okay, I'm going to wait for a 1-minute pullback, and when it breaks the high of low bar, I'm going to get in long and put my stop underneath the low, fine, do that. Do you, boo. This is high risk up here. RSI means less because this is an earnings name, but you may get a tightening range trade or a stair step trade on this, but it's not a top watch for me. RCL, transportation getting wrecked. I think these names stay on reverse back burner, meaning 15-minute overbought conditions for potential shorts until bulls prove otherwise. XLE looked like a perfect hourly bear flag. I'm still staying with this as my top watch for today. And what we're doing, let's start with the larger time frame. We're looking for a weekly lower high compared to $93. So $93 is our top fish level on XLE. Looking for the weekly lower high, and if we're building our case, it's because we do see oil with that 4-hour rising wedge that also has a weekly lower high potential, and we're marrying that confluence of data. So I like XLE short. Top watch for me today. It's right there. And then I don't like, why did I put Starbucks there? I want a Nike there. And then I may put GDX. Who's got to go away for me to do GDX? Oh gosh, Roku I didn't talk about. Okay, Roku. I need to get over here and talk about Roku. Yeah, I like Roku. I'm not going to give up Roku for GDX. All right, stay with me here. We're looking for a monthly higher low on Roku. Daily is approaching oversold, looking for a monthly higher low. In my opinion, Roku is benefiting from Netflix earnings. So this is how I like to trade earnings without getting in a name that's already up 12%. So Roku, I like a long on Roku against $63 or yesterday's low, whichever comes first. And then you wait for an edge to present itself, a stair step, a tightening pattern, a falling wedge would be great into those levels for potential longs. I think this is a great setup for today. So I'm focusing on Roku, XLE, and Nike. And then I shorted Visa yesterday. If you took that trade, I'm still in 2/3 of this short. I told y'all why yesterday. I posted my entry in short setups over here. V weekly lower high, the more likely scenario. So yesterday, 23 hours ago, I'm in V short on that break. I'm in short from 239.84. I covered 1/3 for about a $1.70 gain. And then I'm still in and I'm swinging it. I have puts for November 17th, the 240 puts, and I have the 2/3 left at the commons. So weekly lower high. And then they had bad news yesterday. That was the reason I was in that trade. Paul, they're underwater because it bounced up. We're going to open up right here, right now at $400. All of these people are underwater. Whoever shorted here, they're all underwater. And when the market opens, or right now in pre-market, logic says they need to cover. They could be $50 underwater right now. They likely are. So that's why. All right, there are 315 of you and only 120 likes. If you could hit that like button, I'd appreciate it. Tesla Q should be good because Tesla's weak today. So I don't chart leveraged ETFs, but Tesla Q, if that's how you want to short Tesla and you have it set up, great. Microsoft's holding up well. 1 second, I got to sneeze. Sorry about that. Microsoft is holding up very well. We have a squeeze on the 4-hour chart. We have a squeeze on the hourly chart. This looks good. It looks great. If you can find an edge, a setup that you like for entry versus just jumping in with no edge, I would wait for an edge to present itself. Okay. mRNA has been a dumpster fire. Yeah. I'll put it on my tax loss harvesting list, but that's a ner for me. So let me see what I wrote. I'm just going to give you a preview of my notes that I give to TCG members. I covered this earlier, but I just want to put it here. These are the part of the notes, my 1.5-page notes. Powell speaking today at noon. Don't forget about that. And my number one tip that I give students is to journal all of your trades and tag them. Tag them top fish, weekly low or high, equilibrium, daily high or low. Tag them. and then review your trades. And if you're trading too much and it's too high quantity that you don't have time to trade it, to journal it, that tells you something too. And trade as if every trade would be visible by me, or insert the name of a trader you respect. Would you be taking the trades that you take? Probably not. We don't have to trade every chart and every setup, okay? All right, y'all hit that like button, and y'all have a wonderful day and use stop losses.